So this experiment here is to help you practice your theoretical experimental yield calculations. We're going to be using sodium carbonate and mixing it with hydrochloric acid to essentially make some table salt, some sodium chloride. So the process is to weigh out approximately 1 gram of sodium carbonate. So we've got our sodium carbonate solid here, so it's a pure high quality one, and we've got some hydrochloric acid here that we're going to be using for our reaction. Now it says 1 gram, okay, now it doesn't matter how much you weigh out really, as long as you are recording the exact mass that you're using. And that 1 gram is kind of like a kind of ballpark figure. So what I want to do is I'm going to follow the process and I'm going to measure the mass of my beaker. Okay, so the weight of my beaker is 32.6227 grams. Now don't worry about that last number. That's going to fluctuate a little bit. Okay, if you push on the table and have vibrations, you're going to change all the numbers there. So just hands away when you're doing your weighing. Okay, so that's the weight of my beaker. I'm going to subtract that weight or tear that weight. And then I'm going to weigh out 1 gram just because it's easier. And I have recorded that value. There we go. Okay, so around about 1 gram for this reaction. We've worked out that 1 gram is a good kind of ballpark. .7. I overshot that one a bit. 1.1. We'll go with that. I'll just use that as the waste for now. Okay, so around about 1 gram. Write that down. Okay, so we've got 1.1 grams there. Now, that's perfect. So we've got that weighed out. So we're going to add our 1 molar hydrochloric acid. Drop while stirring until the bubbling stops. Okay, so the reaction that we're looking at today is we're adding sodium carbonate, hydrochloric acid, to make sodium hydrogen carbonate, which will be the gas, which will convert into carbon dioxide and water, and sodium chloride. The gas will come off when we're adding in the acid, and then the water and the salt will be left. Now we're going to then boil off that water using the hot plate, and we will be left with our salt that we've formed. Let's start that one heating. Okay, so we're going to be, I'll show you this reaction here. Okay, so sodium carbonate, hydrochloric acid goes to sodium hydrogen carbonate and sodium chloride, and that sodium hydrogen carbonate, when it's got acid there, it forms water and carbon dioxide. So pretty much overall we're making table salt, so sodium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. So, checking the camera frames, you can see what I'm doing. Yep, that's spot on. So, adding it drop-wise. Oh, can you hear that noise? You can hear that bubble. So I can feel it warming up, so it's a it's a reaction that's producing heat, exothermic. So the reason the book says to add it dropwise is so that way it doesn't splash up everywhere on you. So we want to keep adding this hydrochloric acid until the bubbles stop. So as I'm swirling that around. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a mix. Okay, so I'm going to add some more. There. Back up so you can have a look. Okay, so I'm probably getting a bit liberal with the acid there, but good fun. Giving it a swirl, so trying to dissolve all that carbonate. So as long as gas is being produced, that reaction is occurring. As long as bubbles are being made. Now this takes quite a lot. Just keeps going, doesn't it? Oh look, it's looking like it's nearly done now. So when I swirl it, it's becoming bubbly again, so the reaction's still occurring. Oh, looks like that has stopped bubbling on that last addition. So what we're going to do now is that the bubbling has essentially stopped. We're going to evaporate off the water. Now in terms of the beaker that we're using, the bigger the surface area, the quicker that it's going to evaporate. Now, this one's a touch. 106 degrees I've set that to, because we know the boiling point of water is about 100. It's cool to the touch now, so that's also an indicator that the reaction has stopped. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to heat that up. The larger the beaker that you use, the quicker the evaporation process will occur. You can see it's starting to heat. Wow, it's actually going down because I need that button on. Okay. So the heat light's on now, so it's going to actually heat. Okay, and you'll start seeing condensation on the side of your beaker, and from that you'll then be evaporating the water from the solution. And after a while you'll be just left with that salt on the bottom of the beaker. Okay, so we'll let that boil down and we'll have a look at it in a minute. So looking at our beaker there, it looks like it's evaporated down nicely. So I've just let that cool down. So it's still a little bit warm, but if we should be able to weigh it now. So let's zero this one. So we've already got the weight there of that beaker. So that means that we can just weigh our final product and work out our yield. So now we pre-weighed that beaker, so it's a matter of putting that on. So we've got 33.2772 grams. So if we subtract the 32, we should be able to work out how much sodium chloride we made. So 33.2769. It doesn't matter, the last couple will change a bit. Fantastic. So that is making some table salt.